Welcome back to the OP podcast, where I highlight ordinary people overcoming extraordinary things. Make sure you tune in each week on Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday when we drop brand new podcast episodes for you to help equip you with tools on how to overcome life's biggest challenges. Every Wednesday, we'll be dropping a podcast with a lesson from your host, Fono Vakalahi, myself, and on Saturday, we'll be dropping podcasts with a live interview from a special guest that will be sharing their story and what they did to overcome one of their life's biggest challenges. On Sunday, make sure you tune in as well so that we can get uplifted and continue to grow our testimony in the gospel of Jesus Christ, and also learn how having that testimony in Jesus Christ can help you, the listener, overcome some of life's biggest challenges. So Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday, we'll be dropping brand new podcast every week. Another thing that I want you to realize is there are people out there within your inner circle that also need to hear some of these messages. So one thing that I want you to keep in mind as you listen into these podcasts is as you feel inspired to, and as you hear messages of inspiration, right? There may be some people, there will be some folks that will pop into your head, right? Now, I'm telling you, there's no such thing as coincidence, okay? As you listen into some of these messages, there will be people who you think about that will come to mind. And these are the people that you need to share this message with. So I'll be posting links below on how to follow me on Instagram, the OP Podcast on Instagram. Also, in my podcast posting, the audios, you could find that in Buzzsprout. I'll post a link there as well as my YouTube page, the OP Podcast on YouTube. All three links I'll be posted below, and make sure you stay connected, you stay motivated, and not only stay motivated, but also motivate. Right. So today's topic is content that I took straight from Craig Goldblatt.com. Now, CraigGoldblatt.com, I'll also be posting that link below for those of you who want to look into this lesson a little bit more. Craig is a success coach, and he also he has courses that he sells online on how to help people see life through a perspective of opportunity. Kind of similar to this journey here at the OP Podcast. Craig is on a journey to help people. He has some courses. He also coaches people on how to maximize on their potential, right? And the topic of today's lesson is building your legacy. So 5 simple steps to build your legacy. And to preference this whole lesson, we're going to start out with a little bit of reading, okay? Now, I want you to put yourself in this situation, okay? I want you to think about today being your last day, right? It's the last day of your life. Your family and friends have been visiting you in these last weeks, reminiscing about good times. Soon, they'll be gathering at your funeral, honoring your life. But what exactly are you leaving behind? What is your life? Is your life just a sum of your properties, cars, last will, and testament? Or do you want to be forever known as a touchstone that guides generations? Okay. Heading: what is the point of your legacy anyway? Whether you want to change the world's energy consumption, solve poverty, and save the Amazon, building a legacy is the only way to leave a lasting footprint. A legacy cements your life's work as something that will benefit future generations. Though you may never see it coming to fruition, it's a drive to create something greater than yourself, something that forever improves the world. Just like a farmer who plants an apple tree, knowing he'll never reap the rewards of the orchard, a legacy is a gift you leave behind without expecting an ROI, return on investment. For those of you who don't know what ROI is, it's a return on investment. Think of Martin Luther King Jr. and the civil rights, Thomas Edison and the electricity. They died before their legacies were 100% fulfilled, but they'll always be respected for their life's work. A legacy isn't just a project. It doesn't happen overnight. However, if you connect with a true purpose and create your legacy with dedication, hard work, and meaningful contributions, you'll make a mark that's forever celebrated. Okay. Now we break it up to the 5 steps. Step number 1, define what legacy means to you. Okay. So as you're thinking about your legacy, as you're thinking about what you want to be remembered by, here's a couple things to think about. Before you begin, it's critical to understand why you're leaving a legacy behind and what it personally means to you. So it has to mean something to you. Business philosopher and author James Ron defines its definition is a great place to start. We are stewards of this world. And this is a quote. We are stewards of this world, and we have a calling in our lives to leave it better than how we found it. End quote. Look around and you'll see people living legacies everywhere, from Nelson Mandela to your parents, old professors and neighbors. What legacies are they leaving behind? How much bigger do you want to go with yours? Do you want to impact your community, your country, the world? Decide what kind of legacy you want to leave, and you'll have a map to follow. Now, one of my legacies, or the legacy that I want to leave behind, this is one that I've given much thought to, right? Just to share with you what my legacy is. The legacy that I want to leave behind is a legacy that of someone who was on the Lord's errand, someone who devoted their life to service, someone who cared for others, someone who was a great husband, a great father, a great friend, a great worker. My legacy is one that I want and I know will live on forever. And in order for us to achieve that legacy, we must live our legacy. So as you write, as you have your notes and your pens down, I want you to think about what you want to be remembered by. I want you to start writing down what you want people to remember you as. I want you to think about your life's purpose. Okay, what do you want to leave behind? The quicker you can identify what your legacy is, and the quicker you can identify who you want to be remembered by, the quicker you can identify what your life's purpose is, the quicker you'll be able to start working towards leaving behind that legacy. Okay. This is a very, very important topic, not only for us to live in such a way to not only fulfill our legacy, but also to give purpose into our lives. Okay. And this falls right into our topic number 2, right? Is understand your true purpose. What's important to you? What are your values and benefits? What do you want life to impact? How do you want your life to impact others? What would make you proud? If you had to do one thing to improve the world, what would your contributions be? The answer to these important questions will help you develop a meaningful philosophy that goes beyond just creating financial wealth. Your words will become a building blocks of your legacy. Share them with others, write them down, live them yourself. Okay, now there is mentioned just a few things, right? Once you've identified what your legacy is, and one thing that really stuck out to me and really hit home for me from books that I've read, also with this lesson from Craig, is how do you want your life to impact others? Okay. If you had one thing to improve the world, what would it be? Now, it dives a little bit deeper. The answer to these important questions will help you develop a meaningful philosophy that goes beyond just creating financial wealth. Okay. If your legacy is to be rich, I mean, go for it. If that's something that will fulfill you. But for me personally, and just my own thoughts on leaving behind a legacy is something that goes beyond wealth. Just as Craig mentions here, right? A meaningful philosophy that goes beyond just creating financial wealth. Your words will become the building blocks of your legacy. Once you've identified that, you need to share it with others, write them down, and live it yourself. So there's 3 steps there once you've identified your purpose, right? Share it with others. And I think the important part of why we want to share it with others is so that, people other than yourself can help hold you accountable, right? Can help hold you accountable to your legacy, right? People who love you, people who care about you will make sure that you are living up to your legacy. Now, that may come in forms of, all right, well, you said this, but this is what you're doing. Now, you have to learn how to take those blows, and you have to be humble enough to realize that they're helping you. It may not always come in the best form, or maybe the best way that you wish it would have came for you to accept it. But if you are 100% sure of your legacy, I guarantee you when you share it with your loved ones, they're going to hold you accountable to it. Okay. And it's going to be in forms that you may not like. So just prepare yourself for that. Okay. Be humble enough to accept that criticism, accept that feedback, and then continue working on fulfilling your legacy. Write them down. The importance of writing them down is you have it there. Every time I write something down, my goals, it's there for me to see, it's there for me to read. I put it down on paper. I've taken it from my brain and put it out into the universe. And that's the first step, right? Is our brain is a magical thing, and it's very complex, and scientists haven't even discovered the full potential of the brain. And so in order for us to take it from here, our head, where we understand it, and the importance of putting it down on paper, it's out there for the world. It's out there. You've taken it from here to here. That's your first call to action. Okay. And then live it, understanding it and living it, striving each and every day to remember what you want to be remembered by and live it. Okay. Step number 3, cornerstone your legacy. Okay, it's not easy to put your life's work into a focused direction. To know what you want to create on a global scale, look within first. Look within first. In order for you, and I always say this, in order for you, I manage a team of 25 employees. And one thing that I've learned is in order for me to be successful at work, it all starts with the people, right? In order for me to have a success in the work field, I have to teach people to be successful within themselves, right? To believe in themselves, to have full confidence in themselves. Because I know that as I build better people, in return, I will have better employees. In turn, I will have better results. But it all starts within, right? Look within first. Begin by identifying your strengths. The most obvious place to look is your career. But don't just focus on on your working title. Think about your core strengths instead. Okay, now that was a big one for me. That was a big one for me. And it took a lot of experience for me to identify and really come to the realization that that's actually what my legacy is, right? And that's what I want my legacy to be. And that's what I'm living my life to fulfill my legacy. Like, it takes experience. It takes going out and putting yourself out there to experience the different things in this life, in this world, in order for you to identify what your true purpose is, right? You have to go out and experience life to get those bumps, to get those bruises. And a good friend of mine, Melissa Kelch, she wrote a book called Life Tumble. And it's that same concept of how our life is like a rock tumbler, right? For those of you who don't know what a rock tumbler, it's a machine. It's a machine that smooths rocks. You put a bunch of rocks in there and it just turns and turns, and it rubs against the other rocks and it starts bumping off the jagged edges, and then soon you have this smooth product, this beautiful product. But we all have jagged edges. And Melissa Kelch, had the pleasure of working with her. We actually partnered up to do some speaking engagements to the youth, and I'm sure we'll be coming to a city near you to share our message with you as well. So if you're looking to book, or if you have a business event where you need to motivate your crowd, whether it's your employees or whether it's your school, I'll also book a link here, attach a link below the bottom of this video to help you know what we do, our purpose, and just kind of our outline of the message that we have to share. But yeah, if you haven't had an opportunity to go and look up Life Tumbled, definitely do it. Melissa Kelch is an awesome person. She's a full-time real estate. She's also an author, used to be a teacher, and is just an amazing person to know. So you could find her book on Amazon. You could also order it on Audible. You could also look it up on iTunes. But if you just Google search Life Tumbled by Melissa Kelch, it'll pop up and you can find it. Definitely recommend you go and get in that book. But again, right, you have to experience life in order to really understand what your legacy is, and identifying your core strengths. Okay. Number 4, write your memoir in one sentence. If you were to describe what you're going to be remembered by in one sentence, what would that be? Nothing focuses your legacy like a simple sentence. It poses a simple challenge. Can you weed out the unnecessary and zero in on the non-negotiables for your life's work? Plus, with one sentence can help you name your mission in life. Starting on a blank page can be daunting, but choosing one short, sharp sentence to define your mission is what you want your life to stand for. Isn't so hard. And once you've clarified your mission, this laser focus is energizing. Think of a few words that can define the footprint you want to leave behind. Okay. So next step is, now that you've identified your legacy, let's write that down. And in one sentence, what does that sound like? Right. My legacy is I want to be remembered as someone who was on the Lord's errand. I was one who helped fulfill the Lord's purpose, to help share a message of hope, to help God's children learn how to overcome life's challenges, as well as to help them understand and build, give them the tools, right, through personal experiences, through experiences of other stories, as well as some spiritual experiences and messages to help you understand how to navigate through this life and how to overcome some of life's biggest challenges. So if I were to narrow down my legacy in one sentence, is Fono was on the Lord's errand. He was a man of God. He helped fulfill his purpose by helping others. Right? And that is my legacy, and I'm living every day to fulfill it. Okay. Now, number 5, this is the 5th and final step. Live your legacy and use your time wisely. Now, this is so important. Okay. Once you've identified your legacy, live your legacy and use your time wisely. Okay. Now, with anything in life, as you add new things into your schedule, right? If your legacy is to be of one that is helping others or helping change in the world, and you're just starting off on your journey, you're going to be adding new things to your schedule, to your daily schedule. So use your time wisely is so important. Okay. Because as you add new things to your life, there's going to be other things that will have to sacrifice, and you have to make sure that you're choosing wisely on what that sacrifice is. Okay. One thing that's always helped me is praying. Okay. Anytime I start a new venture, anytime I start a podcast, I just say a quick, simple prayer. For the podcast to be able to help share a message that will touch the lives of others. That will help share a message that someone needs to hear, right? To help equip someone with the tools on how to overcome a difficult challenge, right? As I start a new venture, I will say a prayer that I'm on the right path, and that will be blessed with the knowledge to know that what I'm doing is right, right? And if you feel it's right, go for it. Okay. If you get that feeling in your gut, that's, something's off about this. You better listen into that. You better listen into that. I've learned to trust my gut, to trust the Spirit, right? And we were all born with the light of God, right? To be able to know good from evil. And so continue to strive every single day to not only identify your legacy, and the quicker you can do that, the better off you'll be. Also write it down, share it with others, and then live every day to fulfill your legacy, right? What do you want to be remembered by? I hope you enjoyed today's podcast on 5 simple steps on how to identify your legacy, how to start creating that, and how to start living your legacy. Tune in next time as we talk about as we discuss other topics. If you feel like you have a topic that you want to cover, that you want me to cover, feel free to post in the chat here, as well as just comment. Again, you can follow my YouTube page. You can comment on that video I post there. Also my Instagram page, the OP Podcast. You could also comment on this video there on topics that you want covered, and something that maybe you're challenging, that's challenging for you right now at this time. I promise you, I'm going to do my best to search out messages that will help inspire everyone, right? That will help inspire everyone, and through the process, inspire me to continue to inspire you. But I know that it all comes through God. I know that all these blessings come through the Lord Savior Jesus Christ. And that's my message for you today. And tune in tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, because these videos are down for replay. So listen to them as many times as you need, and we'll continue to stay motivated together. Have a great day.